Hello and welcome to Don't Tell This, a sports betting podcast that wants to forget that Thursday Night Football ever happened. I'm your host, Al Manarino. With me is my co-host and fellow winner seeker, Mr. Ben Murkison. Ben, what's going on?
I'm tired of wanting to forget that football happened. I'd like to remember it. I'd like to remember, fondly, oh, that was great. Remember we won money? Instead of just going back to the very first game we ever bet on this year. We're spiraling. We're spiraling. We got to get out of it.
We really are. We have won one time. This is episode 10, so that is not great. I
Yeah.
believe we are now up only one unit, if anything, or are we officially down?
We're not down yet. I think we were up 2, so we're down to one unit. So if we lose the 1 p.m. bet, we're officially starting over.
Fantastic. So let's recap real quick Thursday Night Football before we get into Sunday's slate. What happened? We had the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. We thought it was going to be an absolute slaughter, but the Dolphins looked like they had some life. They were playing like everyone was trying to keep their job.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought our lines were pretty good going into it, and then even during it, but really nothing happened until like the third quarter for us.
Yeah, I mean, our lines were pretty conservative. We took a parlay that didn't have as much juice as we normally would because we were trying to get a W.
Trying to get done.
But yeah, I mean, James Cook, anytime touchdown, old reliable. Like he did get that. That was just, you can just check that box as soon as you put it in there. All the other lines were close, but no cigars. So Josh Allen over rushing, the line was 27.5. He finished with 25. James Cook receiving, the line was 12.5. He finished with just 10. And then Devon Achane was the one that was the furthest off, surprisingly. It was only 39.5 receiving yards, and he finished with 29. I know we mixed these into a lot of different parlays also, and they kind of cost us across the board. We had the right idea, it just didn't come to fruition. Yeah, the Dolphins' offense looked better. I think some of that's a product of the Buffalo Bills' defense is not very good. But then, Dolphins dolphined at the end as they tend to do, and so they're 0-3, and we got a loss too.
Yeah, I wasn't too happy about any of that. The one thing that was a surprise was, um, we didn't go with Cook over rushing. He kind of destroyed that, I think, at the first half, and that's on us. But it was probably going to be either that or the touchdown, and the touchdown hit. So it's like that wasn't the leg that we would have replaced. It was really kind of everything else that fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, after the first week when so many of the running back receiving lines that you liked hit, we've kind of tried to utilize that, and for whatever reason, it's kind of failed us as of late. So some of these guys that started off hot catching the ball are now just kind of being more bell cow running backs. So we might have to start looking at some of their rushing lines, and just not try to get cute, just kind of stick with what they do. But we'll see how it goes when we make our picks for Sunday.
What a great transition. Let's
Yeah.
go into our 1 p.m. parlay picks. I'll let you start. What is your first pick?
So my first pick is a guy that, I mean, is kind of surprised, I guess, to an extent, but I had some high hopes for him with Michael Penix being his quarterback, kind of a guy that everybody likes to make fun of. But Kyle Pitts is having a good season at tight end for the Falcons with the emergence of Penix at quarterback. A couple of different ways you could play it, but I, again, really like his receptions line. He's somebody that's been getting targeted pretty often. So over 3.5 is the reception line for Kyle Pitts, and that's one that I like right off the bat. I know you're more of a fan of the yards, but I do think he's going to get enough targets in that game against the Panthers to go through and hit that one.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to say that one because I also had Kyle Pitts receptions.
Look at you! You're coming
Look
around to
at
the dark
me.
side of receptions.
I truly am. Yeah, I really
Are
like
you
that
happy
pick.
about it?
I'm not. I like that pick though. Kyle Pitts is like he has been kind of unleashed now. I know it's still very early this season, this is week 3, but this is what everyone thought he was going to be. Everyone who drafted him the last couple of years thinking like this is going to be the Kyle Pitts here. This is going to be the Kyle Pitts here. It finally seems like it's the Kyle Pitts here. He is a very reliable target for Penix. Darnell Mooney is still coming back from injury. He's playing. He played last last week, but he only had 20 receiving yards. It's definitely a team that is still trying to find its footing, but one really great thing about it is the rise of Kyle Pitts. So love that pick. I'm gonna go with my first pick. I'm gonna go for old reliable, and that is Mr. Tyler Warren over 49.5 receiving yards. What is there to say about Tyler Warren and Indiana Jones that we have not already said? He is the seems like the focal point of the receiving core now, which is great. He's very much like the Brock Bowers type for this offense. I was very worried about Daniel Jones as the starting quarterback for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons was his inability to throw the deep ball last season for the Giants, and I still think there's gonna be regression there at some point, but if Tyler Warren is open, he's gonna get the ball, and at 49.5, like, this guy is a ladder candidate for me in terms of, um, receiving yards, and it really doesn't matter what defense he's playing, the guy just seems to get open, so I like Tyler Warren over 49.5 receiving yards.
Are you concerned at all, or are you aware at all about his injury designation right now?
I am not aware, and I
Yeah.
am not worried.
Okay.
I know
Don't know about it and not worried
don't
about
know about
it.
it, don't even wanna think about it. It did screw us, last week with Brock Bowers, who was recovered from, like, probably the same type I guess tight ends only hurt their knees. Yeah, I know it's a knee injury. I think it's very much like if he's not a part of the offense, they don't have an offense. So, I think at 49.5, it's still, relatively possible, but you could 100%
Yeah.
talk me out of it.
I mean, I think you're gonna get him at a discount because of the injury, but there's just some question marks. He was limited in practice on Thursday. I just checked back. I haven't seen as of this time on Friday whether or not he returned to full practice. Typically, you have to go back to a full practice on a Friday if you're gonna play in the game on Sunday. So, if he's not doing that, then to be a mute point, essentially we'll have to take him out of our potential parlay. But yeah, if he plays, then absolutely, I think it's worth playing him.
Yeah, and, if that ever happens, if we make a pick and suddenly the player gets scrapped, we will post on our Facebook, Jesus. We will post on our Instagram or Twitter,
My LinkedIn
uh,
page is gonna be
or our
updated.
LinkedIn. We're gonna post on Friendster,
Ooh.
all of our updated slips, and we'll make a note in the post saying like, "Hey, Tyler Warren's out. We were gonna replace him with this player." But yeah, what's your next pick?
Yeah, so my next pick, I'm gonna go with a Tampa Bay Buccaneer running back. Bucky Irving?
Ooh.
No,
Oh,
not
no.
Bucky Irving.
Oh, no.
I'm going with the touchdown vulture himself, Rashad White. Not going with an anytime touchdown. I'm gonna go with his yard total. It's set at just 25 and a half. Inexplicably to me, got almost an even split with Bucky in the last game. He had 10 carries. He went for 65 yards, over 6.5 yards per touch. Um, he had a really good game, and it was tight. It wasn't like they were blowing out the Texans. They won that game 20-19. Like they needed every single possession to be positive. But yeah, Bucky had 17 carries. Rashad had 10. So really, really increased. I think he had 2 carries in the first game. So they gave him 8 more in this one. And he did a lot with it. So I expect them to give him the rock a little bit more in a game that I think probably they could potentially get more of a lead playing against the Jets. Obviously, none of us really have high hopes for the Jets, especially not even with Justin Fields in the game. So if it's one where they've got a lead, then that even makes it easier for him to get his rush. But even if it's tight, we already shown based off the last performance that he could go through and get those carries too. So loving Rashad White in this spot over 25 and a half.
I don't know if I like it or not. I'm just gonna just nod politely, but it's a podcast, so I'll just be like, "All right,
He said,
it's I
moving
guess
on.
moving on." No, it's I just, it's too early for me to figure out their run game. The first week, Bucky was kind of a non-factor, and then week 2, he started playing a little more, and then, of course, splitting the backfield with Rashad White. So I don't know where they're at in terms of their strategy for the running back situation. So I guess we'll see. 24.5 seems like a good feeler to try out though, before it starts becoming like, David Montgomery numbers for the backfield.
Sure.
All right. So am gonna go I'm gonna go another reception one, which is kinda crazy for me to say.
I've got one too, so it could be the same one.
I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. Alright, so I'm just trying to find the game. Okay. So, it is the Carolina nope, rewind, stop. Okay, hold on. I literally can't find this goddamn game on DraftKings right now. Did they fucking remove it? Hold on. Alright, nope. Alright, I found it. Okay. Take it from here. Alright, for my next pick, I'm going with another receiver and another reception line. But it is gonna be the game of the week for sure. It is the Cincinnati Bengals against the Minnesota Vikings. We
Uh,
have Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. I am taking Jamar Chase over 6.5 receptions at plus money. So the line was 5.5, and we might still take that. Do you know what he had last week?
Jamar? No, I'd have to look it up. I think he had a pretty good fantasy day. Browning was airing it out to him a little bit.
Yes, so, that's pretty much all he's got, Browning. He was slinging the ball like Russ last week. He had a crazy game with 14 receptions and 16 targets. So I feel like if you get anything half of that at plus money, why not?
Well, yeah. I mean, half of 14 would be 7, which would be over the line. So we love the math. That
We
math
do love
works.
math, and at plus 107, I'd prefer the 5.5 line, but it's up, and they're giving us plus money. It's the only plus no, that and Gesicki and Noah Fant are the only plus money receptions on DK. I love both of those guys. I just don't know with Browning, I don't know their strategy outside of give Jamar the ball. It's like the only strategy they have.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it'd be one of those, like, fuck it, chases down there somewhere type scenarios when you're a backup quarterback. Like, you want to give your best player a chance. And, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game.
It's also Chase versus Jefferson too.
Yeah, I mean, that's not how they drew it up. They're both playing with backup quarterbacks. I'm not sure
Oh,
that it
yeah.
matters as much in the Vikings side of things. Justin's probably, like, fine with Carson being the guy right now. He probably would love to have last year repeat itself and have Darnold back there, but he's got what he's
Yeah.
got. Poor Jefferson. Yeah, he needs himself, a consistent quarterback, and then poor Chase because he can't keep Burrow healthy either, so
No.
that's rough. That's
It's not
rough.
his job.
It's definitely not his job. He's doing his job.
That's right.
Somebody else that's been doing their job all year long and has the exact same over 6.5 receptions line that I want to go with because I've gone with him 2 other occasions is Mr. Puka Nakua. Because if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. He's had 10 receptions and 8 receptions the last 2 games. His line set at 6.5. I don't see anything that would lead me to believe he's gonna, go below that. So I'm gonna keep going back to the Puka Nakua pick every single time until it doesn't work. They are playing the Eagles. Eagles do have a good defense, but the Rams and the Eagles had a good battle in the playoffs last year. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement with this one. And yeah, if Stafford's going to try to win this game, he's going to obviously they're going to need the run game to be established, but they're also going to want to get the ball in Puka's hands as much as possible. And they do that no matter what.
Yeah, he's averaging 9 receptions. I had his receiving line written down. It wasn't like my favorite, but I still think he's getting to the point where anything under 100 is like a value because he is a absolute maniac. And apparently Stafford can't see any other receivers on the field. It's just Puka on the team. It's like he's like LeBron on the Cavs. It's just like him and then a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy when one of the other guys is Devontae Adams, who's, by all accounts and purposes, still having a decent year, but Puka's always been the guy. It's the same thing when Cooper Kupp was on the roster. Like, once, Puka got established, he was just the number one target. He's averaging 110 and a half yards receiving, and he's averaging 9 catches. So either line, we're looking at minus I think minus 112, for his receptions line. So
Minus 124.
24 on that one. Okay. So yeah,
112
he's
on the receiving line.
cool. So yeah, either one would be fine, but I still just like the receptions aspect of it because of how much he's targeted.
Love it. That's a good one. I'm gonna go next. I don't know if what are we at now? 5 picks. One that we both had, so technically 6. All right, I'm gonna go. This one was a fun one. I'm gonna go to the Texans-Jaguars game, and I'm gonna go with a receiver. And no, it's not literally anyone that you're thinking. I'm going De'Ami Brown over 34.5 receiving yards,
My former buddy.
our former buddy.
Yeah.
So, I found it interesting that he's been pretty consistent, even with the addition of Travis Hunter, and, Brian Thomas Jr. just hasn't been activated yet. Like, we're still waiting for that to really start again, and it could happen this game, and this bet can already be screwed. But in terms of Brown's output, he's leading the team in receiving yards. He's got 57 and 52 his last two games, one of which had a touchdown. He's been, last game he was targeted 4 times, caught 3 balls. Sorry, that was week 1. Week 2, he was targeted 7 times and caught 5. Um, yeah, he's just that, like, deep ball slot threat that we loved from last season. And, I was kind of mad that the Commanders got rid of him, and we could already see what that's done to the offense. But yeah, De'Ami Brown,
Yeah.
the king of Jacksonville.
I do love Diami. Like he was somebody that after we drafted him, it just seemed like he was never going to really work himself into the rotation until last year. Jaden unlocked him as he does with a lot of guys. Yeah, it's fun to have him on those deep ball shots. Really do wish the Commanders still had him because that's kind of the piece that they could utilize a little bit more right now. They don't have a consistent wide receiver 3 at the moment. But yeah, I do like Diami Brown. He's having a good time there in Jacksonville. And yeah, until Brian Thomas Jr. really steps forward and you know, plays basically to the point where everybody drafted him for fantasy purposes and have been playing like his lines. Yeah, Diami's a good look there. I have another player from that exact same game.
Here we go.
Again, I'm going back to the same person that has hit for me both weeks. Travis Etienne Jr. Over rushing, they still haven't like upped his line yet. So I'm gonna keep playing it until they really jack it up there somewhere at least in the 70s. But it's only at 55.5 right now. The I mean, we just talked about like what Bucky and Rashad White were able to do. Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ran for 169 yards against the Texans last week. So I I don't really understand why the line is where it's at. So I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to smash it over 55.5 for Travis Etienne Jr.
I love that. I would even consider doing an alt for that
Yeah,
just
I think it'd
because,
be
I mean,
safe, honestly. But yeah,
yeah, 71 yards last game. That first game, he had 143, which is just bananas. Yeah, the Texans, we were told are gonna have a great defense, but they, I don't know, haven't done that much, and they're 0-2.
yeah,
So, yeah, 20 points against the Bucks last week. Rams in week 1 only had 14 points against them, but,
yeah. Kyron had
we literally just talked
66.
about the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, Kyron had 66 in that first game against the Texans. I mean, either one would go over that line. It's going to
Mhm.
be a tight game, I would suspect, between the Jags and the Texans. But I think they'll try to lean on their run game.
I agree. I really like that pick. I believe we have all our picks for
That's all I
week
got.
1.
Yep, that's
Week
all I've got.
week 1, I said. 1 PM, I mean.
We're done. We're just
We're
gonna
done,
call
we're
it.
good. Alright, so what do we like?
Well, we both had Kyle Pitts over 3.5, so that's one we could consider.
Yep,
You seemed excited about the Travis Etienne Jr. and the Puka lines.
I do like both of those.
So I don't think you're as excited about Rashad White's over 25.5 rushing. So I'm
No,
gonna assume we'll pass on that one. What
we won't.
uh what of the other lines did you really like from your side? What did you feel most confident with? And then we'll
You
throw that one out and we'll go with the one you don't think's gonna hit.
Yeah, it's true, right? You made me feel, not great about the Tyler Warren line, but, like, I just think he's the whole offense. But I do
Yeah.
like the Brown line as well.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with Diami. I mean, Tyler Warren, if he plays, like I guess we could look at it this way. If we put it in and then he ends up not playing, they're gonna void that line out, like we could, win
Mhm.
off of that, or then we could go through and make a separate bet, I suppose. With one of the other lines that we like that we're not utilizing. So if you still want to go with Tyler Warren, buy him at the discount, with the injury, then we can just adjust as needed.
There's that, and then, I forget, I failed to mention the Chase line as well, the 6.5 receptions at plus money.
Yeah, I feel confident about that one too. I mean, for the reasons that we discussed, you brought up essentially they're gonna I I know that they would like to eventually establish their run game, but they haven't been able to do that yet. And I think Browning's gonna want to just do what he did last game and just keep airing it out. And nobody's can cover Chase, so he's always gonna if he's in 1-on-1, you're gonna chuck it up to him every time. 16 targets is crazy work. So I yeah, I'm really comfortable with that line. He had 14 receptions last week. Nobody else had more than 3. That's crazy.
Crazy. All right, so Kyle Pitts receptions, um,
Puka
Travis
Nakua.
Etienne rushing yards, Puka Nacua. So we're gonna do 2 receptions here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
take Warren out against my best judgment. I'll take De'Ami Brown out. I'll put these all in a separate parlay, and hopefully
Have to.
we
You
can
have to.
have to do it, hit. But I do like what we have here. We have Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions. We have Jamar Chase over 6.5 receptions, Puka Nacua over 6.5 receptions, and Travis Etienne Jr. over 58.5 rushing yards. The one play that is ruining this receptions parlay.
Well,
um,
if
but
it
four
helps,
pick, what are you gonna
you
say?
could play it around different places too. I did find him at 55.5, I think, when it was on Bet365. So there's options for Travis Etienne Jr. Just whenever you're making this, if you're tailing us, which of course you should not, shop
Correct.
around and find a good line.
Yeah, at the moment, I'm drafted. I'm putting this in DraftKings in their little parlay builder. 4 pick parlay plus 1203, 20 to win 260.72, which I feel like was around what we won in week 1. So
Yeah,
maybe this is a sign
maybe that's a sign. Maybe we should have tried to do the math so the odds are exactly that every time, no
every
matter what we
time.
do. Just mix it up. All
That
right,
would be
that's
great.
that's a solid 1 p.m. slate. On to the 4 p.m., which, if you listened to us recap last week, was where I went 0 for 4. So I'm a little bit scared to even try to pick 4 o'clock for whatever reason. Maybe it's the limited amount of games to choose from. Don't know. But there's a few in there where we can kind of go back to some stuff that's worked in the past. But then I've got 3 brand new names that we have not. Nope, 2 brand new names we haven't used yet.
All right, start us off.
I'm going to start with the one that is the safe return bet. That's just Justin Herbert over his rushing line. I've got him at 20
Hell,
and a half.
hell yeah.
I mean, he's hit it every time. Like anything that we're hitting consistently, I feel like there's no point in going away from it until like the line is just too big and we don't feel comfortable anymore. But 20 and a half.
Unless it's Tyler Warren, apparently.
Well, that's only because his injury. Like if Justin Herbert was hobbling around out there, then I'd be like, okay, maybe we don't take his rushing line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure Tyler Warren will also hit, but let's just hope that our other picks do as well. We're moving on from that, Al. Let's not bring up Tyler Warren anymore. We're talking Justin Herbert and his rushing line, which he is going to crush at over 20 and a half.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about establishing the run game. We thought going into the season that the Harbaugh Chargers would be like this super run heavy, Pirate Harris and Amari Hampton are going to just run all over. It's like, no, it's just the Justin Herbert show. If he's not slinging it, he's using his legs. And yeah, I love this. I'm gonna bet this until the wheels fall off.
Yeah, Amari Hampton has 72 yards on the season. Justin Herbert has 63. Like he's almost the leading rusher on that team, which is
It's
just
crazy.
absurd. Yeah, also absurd. Yeah. So what's your first line? You got anybody else you're coming back to that's worked for us in the past?
Uh, Probably, but not for this pick. I'm gonna go with, um, s I hate going to a line that's this high, but just based off, like we're talking about, like, buying low. JSN on the Seahawks, Jackson Smith-Njigba, 74.5 receiving yards. You wanna know what he had the last 2 games?
I should know because he's on every fantasy team I have. I
Yeah, he's
drafted
probably
the hell out of him.
he's probably doing great. First
Yeah.
game, 13 targets, 9 receptions, 124 yards. Week 2, 10 targets, 8 receptions, 103 yards. Even if it goes down 20 yards, I think he's still hitting this number. Um, you know, we're talking about the opposite of Justin Herbert. Sam Darnold is not a mobile quarterback to that extent. They do have a pretty decent run game with Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, but JSN is the clear wide receiver 1. Cooper Kupp finally started doing something in week 2. But, Darnold slings the ball. JSN is his number 1 target. I'm going to go JSN 74.5 receiving yards.
Yeah. I love Jason. I've been high on him all year. I'm surprised we haven't had him in any parlays up to this
I know.
point, so
Could have won something.
we might have won something. Off the top, do love that pick right away. That's probably one I feel good about putting in there. You'll have to let me know what you think about this line. It's the team we hate the most, the Dallas
Oh, great.
Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Yep, that's easy to figure out. It's the best player on that team. I'm just
I'm
waiting
gonna
for you
guess
to say
CD
his
Lamb.
name. Okay, yep.
CD Lamb. I didn't know it
This is
was
like an easy
call.
question and answer.
Didn't know it was call and response.
So CeeDee Lamb, his line I was getting at 82.5 receiving. He's going up against the Bears. The Bears who love to give up a ton of points. We just saw what the Lions did in the passing game against them. Give up 52 points to the Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown got right. Yeah, they don't seem in their secondary like they can stop anybody. So CeeDee Lamb seems like an easy person. 82.5 is a little higher than we normally like lines, but I think it's lower than what it got in week one. And he crushed over that. So I feel comfortable going with CD. I wouldn't use a Cowboy unless I felt like he could benefit us and actually win us some money. So CD Lamb seems like he's just in a good matchup to do some damage.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. I really didn't like a lot of lines from this matchup at all. The only one I was considering was Javonte Williams,
Mm.
his receiving line, just because
Well, let's not do
I
that.
do like to, but I again, I'm not gonna do it, and I truly hate this game and everyone involved in it. So, if I'm gonna pick someone, it would be CD.
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy, just like we talked about with JSN. He's had 110 yards and 112 yards receiving. Somehow his line is still just 82.5 against one of the worst secondaries in the NFL. So it seems like it should be an easy play.
Yeah, agreed. All right, moving on. I'm gonna go back to another game, and I feel like you're gonna hate this pick, but
Mm.
I'm going Bo Nix over rushing.
Because we've tried him twice and he hasn't hit it yet.
Correct. So
So
his
he's
line is
due,
over.
right?
He's due over 21.5. We're already going to Herbert for that game. I don't know. I feel like this offense kind of starts and ends with Nix, and if he doesn't start making some explosive kind of plays with his legs, I don't know. I don't see a happy ending that going into the season. How many people were so high on the Broncos?
Yeah, I mean, I was one of them. I thought they could potentially challenge the Chiefs, which they can. I just didn't think the Chargers, would be the team that's the clear favorite there. Yeah, but I mean, Bo Nix looked so good as a rookie. I thought that he would kind of take more of a step forward. We're kind of seeing some of the sophomore slump for a lot of those quarterbacks in year two as of right now. Jaden obviously being hurt doesn't help his case either. So we'll see how it works out. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great to have a get right game and have him actually go over that rushing line. I mean, he's clearly capable. He's done it a bunch last season, so I don't see why he hasn't really gone back to the run so much this year.
Hmm. Agreed. What do you got next?
So I'm gonna take a Saint, which is probably not a good idea, but I'm gonna take the leading receiver for the Saints, who happens to be a tight end that they're basically using as a slot receiver right now, Juwan Johnson. If you play a lot of fantasy football, you probably try to get him off the waiver wire week one or week two, but he's definitely not there anymore. He's crushing it. Like if anybody's having a good season for the Saints, which nobody is except for him, it's him. He's the leading receiver over Chris Olave. He's got 125 yards on the year with 13 receptions. His line is set at just 43.5 receiving yards. So that's one that he's gone over easily both times. So I feel like that's a safe play, especially in a game where I think that they're probably going to be playing from behind as they do every game this season against the Seahawks, and they'll need to air it out more. I don't think that Spencer Rattler is going to go away from his favorite target. So I would be fine with receptions or receiving yards, but this is one where I felt good about the receiving angle.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I actually like it more than my last pick with Nick, so I kind of already want to nix that one.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna give you my last two, mostly because they're not here. They're not there, like available. I've looked on DraftKings. I've looked on FanDuel. If while I'm talking, you want to look on Bet365 to see if they're there. I think you know what I'm going to be talking about. The two from the same game that I really like, Cardinals, 49ers. We're going back to the well on two picks here. Kyler Murray over rushing and CMC over receiving. I don't even know what their lines are, and I still want both of them. That's how
Just give it to
good
me.
that's how good both of those players are at hitting those props. And,
Yeah,
like
I got it
oh, you
for
found
you.
it?
Yeah, Bet365, shout out them. Maybe they'll be a sponsor one day.
Yeah,
Kyler Murray's over rushing is 28.5 yards. He's had
done.
38 and 32, so we've
Love it.
gone over that both times. Who was the other?
CMC over receiving.
CMC over receiving yards. His line right now is 37.5,
Yeah, that's
and he's had
no
73 and 52.
no-brainer.
Yeah. I mean, both of those seem like nice plays. Those are 2 guys that we've utilized both times, and I think that they're, 2 guys that hit for us both times. Realistically, we could make this parlay, 4 players that have actually hit their lines for us if we go Justin Herbert over rushing, CeeDee Lamb over receiving, and then take those 2.
Yeah, so since we mentioned a few picks that have hit in the past that we do like, it would be fun to put all 4 of them together and watch them all miss, and then they all end up on our never again list. So we're talking about Herbert, we're talking about, CeeDee Lamb, Kyler, and CMC. Unavailable, 2 of those lines on DraftKings, but Ben, you pulled up Bet365. What are we looking at with this parlay?
Yeah, Bet365 for the win. So Justin Herbert over 21.5 yards rushing. CeeDee Lamb over 84.5. Those are both minus 110. And then we've got Kyler Murray over 28.5 rushing and Christian McCaffrey over 68.5 rushing. Those 2 lines together plus 280. So it puts us at plus 1284. It's $20 to win 276.99.
I'm already
I
counting.
mean,
Already
I
counting the money.
we feel so good about that one.
We do. All right. Do you want to move into the 8 o'clock game? And I might ask you for some lines via Bet365 because there isn't a ton available on DraftKings at the moment. So do you want to move into the 8 o'clock, our last bet of the episode?
Yeah, I mean, we could start with it being boring. Another guy that we are going to play until the wheels fall off of
Yep.
him. So Patrick Mahomes, I'm assuming you also have over rushing. I
He's their
did find
leading
that one.
running back.
Yeah, I mean, easily. I did find him at over 27.5 was the line that I had him at on DraftKings. So yeah, I think Patrick Mahomes is just a smash play until he stops taking off or they get something else going with the run game.
Yeah, and if we're gonna go back to back with picks that have worked for in the past, even just barely, I was looking at Kelsey again. And do you have a receiving line on Bet365 for me?
Let me pull up Bet365 for this one. I also had Kelsey, I think at some point. I'm not sure if I don't look like I put him in my final, but yeah, Kelsey was one. He's the leading receiver and he's gone over the line that I know that I saw him at previously both times. So I think that's one that we should definitely go with. Um,
Yeah, Worthy's still questionable, so I don't think I don't think his lines are going to be available. And B, I don't know if he's going to play.
True. Um, while I'm pulling up Kelsey's line, I can say I did have one other rushing line for this one. I know we just talked about
Is
Mahomes,
it
but
Russell Wilson?
it it's not gonna be
Ah,
Russell Wilson. Well, maybe. Well, maybe. I was also gonna go with Kareem Hunt, was one of my options because they tried to I think because Isaiah Pacheco has not been working out, they're trying to do something a little bit different, and they're trying to incorporate Kareem Hunt into it, and he only had 26.5, was the line that I was seeing. He's averaging 30, based off of getting more involved last week. So I could see him getting over that line because they want to try to use this game as like a get right for their rushing attack against the Giants in a game that I'm assuming or hoping that they'll be able to be leading in. So yeah, I could see Kareem Hunt going over his. But funny enough, yes, I also did have Russell Wilson going over 18.5 rushing yards, which I'm assuming is one of yours.
yes, I love that line. I'm not even going to go into the details of it, but I really want to jump into my next pick because I was so wrong, at least 2 weeks into the season, about Tyrone Tracy. And I know you are laughing all the way to the, what's the opposite of the bank? Poverty?
Uh,
Laughing all the way to the poverty
Laughing
because of our
to our future bet absolutely having no chance of hitting
no
because he's
shot.
not involved.
He's not involved. So I'm going to go Scattaboo. Great
Yeah,
seeing
look how quickly
his
we pivoted. We're in week 3 and you're already like, well, he's done.
oh, he's over. Well, listen, they unleashed Scattaboo last week. Even only, he only had, uh, let me just pull this up.
I'm
He
assuming it was like
only
in the
had,
20s.
he had 11 carries for 45 yards and a
45. Okay.
touchdown.
Okay.
I like the 11 carries part of
Yeah.
this. So rushing attempts, his line's 9.5. Another pretty good option. I kinda like that more actually than the rushing
If
line.
if they can keep it relatively close, to where they're not having to throw the entire second half, then yeah, I don't mind the human bowling ball being the option.
Yes, apparently according to DraftKings, I cannot add the rush attempts, so I'll stick to the 36.5, rushing yards.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good number still. Travis Kelce was at 42.5 on Bet365,
Yeah.
which I think is a smash play for his over.
Yeah, I agree. What else you got? Anything else jumping out at you?
Yeah, so one other one, I'm trying to find like a giant that I could play. Malik Neighbors is obviously the obvious guy, and so maybe we're dumb if we don't play Neighbors, but I was looking for like the other wide receiver. So Wandale Robinson, I think both of their guys are a little banged up behind Neighbors right now. But it looked from everything that I saw like Wandale was going to play, and I was getting him at 43.5 on DraftKings. He's the other guy that's been involved like a lot in their passing game. Basically, anytime they're not throwing to Neighbors, it's going his way. So in a game which I feel like similar to the last game against the Cowboys, they're going to need to be airing the ball out quite a bit. He seems like a good option if you have to take another wide receiver that's not Malik Neighbors, just out of necessity because of how insanely high Neighbors is priced.
Yeah, I love Wandale now that he's happy. Now that he's healthy, I'm a big fan of him. He is our clear wide receiver 2, just, according to targets and yardage, and it was funny, the beginning of this, in the in, like, the even before the preseason, when Russ joined the team, he was talking up Jalen Hyatt so much,
Oh
and
yeah.
and we were hearing such things and, like, potentially him being a trade candidate and all this kind of stuff. People were actively asking about him, and we haven't even used him 1 time in 2 games. So, if that's gonna be the case, I think Wandell, is at a buy low right now. He had a
Super low.
crazy game last week. No one saw 142 yards coming.
142. And even against the Commanders, he still had 6
Yeah,
catches for 55 yards. So
55, yeah.
either one of those puts him over his line. I think he's probably like a smarter play than trying to go with the high numbers off of Neighbors, even though like Neighbors could of course do that too.
Yeah. I like Robinson for the 43.5. A potential ladder candidate just because of last week alone. Russ is, what it looks like from the Cowboys game. He's in do or die mode, and if he doesn't sling the ball, he's out of here. We'll probably get Dart in or Winston, who should be a Bengal at this point. I know we've had that conversation already, but imagine Jameis on the
That would
Bengals.
be
I
so nice.
I want him on the Giants so much just for the vibes alone, but he would be incredible on the Bengals right now because Burrow's gonna be out for like 3 months. So, yeah, I like Robinson, I like Scattaboo, I like Wilson, I like Mahomes, I like Kelsey. What are you feeling right now? We have about 5 picks.
Uh, I think we go with the Travis Kelce and the Wandale Robinson overs. They're both 44.5. Nice easy math to remember. I think,
Yeah,
and then
that's
I
big
don't
for you.
that's big for me. I don't like to do math. Even though I work for a bank, but whatever.
Whatever.
And then, yeah, Patrick Mahomes, I think you can't not do his rushing line at 30.5.
Yep.
So I think those three are the lock picks for me. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I feel good about Scatabo, or I feel good if we want to go elsewhere. So which one do you feel best about the remaining?
Yeah, so we're banking on a giant to succeed, so it's tough. I think it looks like from last week they're gonna unleash the Scattaboo. Can they get the run game going?
So
It's
it
a
sounds like
it's
we're either Russell
well,
Wilson over rushing or Scatabo over rushing at that point.
yeah, I prefer that, because then I think it'll be an even amount. We'll have 2 Giants, 2
You're all about
Chiefs.
symmetry.
I do like the symmetry. I do wanna point this out there that a big reason for Russ rushing, he's not a really big mobile quarterback guy. He has no protection because Andrew Thomas has been out the first, 2 weeks of the season. They're saying he's trending towards playing, last time I checked. If that's the case, he might have more time in the pocket, which means less running from Russ. That's the only thing I'm worried about with that line, and it would actually be beneficial for, like, the Wandale line and potentially the Scattaboo line.
Yeah, true. I mean, you're the Giants guy, so I'll lean on you for that one. I do know Chiefs have a pretty good pass rush. I mean, Chris Jones, obviously. So I mean, they could still get to him enough to make Russell run a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I know at least in the last game, Russell ran out of necessity to kind of at the end when they were playing more like off of the receivers and kind of give him a lot of space. Then he kind of took off and had that big rush at the end there, but. Um, yeah, I'd say whichever one you feel more confident in. If you want to go Scatabo or Russ, you make the final call as a New York Giant fan yourself.
I gotta go with my boy Scatterboo.
Very excited about Mr. Scatabo.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are we looking
So
at?
on Bet365, if we go with those, so we take Patrick Mahomes over his rushing at 30.5. We take Scatabo over 33.5. We take Travis Kelce and Wandale Robinson both at 44.5 receiving yards. We could bet 20 with odds of 1150 to return 250. Gotta love that math.
I
Gotta love
really
that.
love it. Really love it. I'm really excited about that game. It's gonna either be the first win for the Giants or the first win for the Chiefs. Um, as a Giants fan, I'm really excited about it. At the same time, the script, the narrative is this is the Chiefs get right game, is what I keep saying all week to hopefully reverse the curse. What is the line for this game, by the way?
I was actually just about to ask. I'm looking at 6.5. Chiefs
Oh,
are
I see.
favored.
It's 6 on
Okay.
DraftKings. That's why guys always check your lines. Check them
Yeah.
all over the place.
I mean, that could continue to move too right up until Sunday night.
Mhm.
This is a game that I think will be much closer than maybe people who haven't been paying attention to just kind of how disjointed the Chiefs look right now and how, potential explosivity the Giants actually have with that offense and that passing game. If you have neighbors, you have a chance, and that's what they've got. So I think it'll be
Yeah.
close.
Well, that's a perfect way to wrap it. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we get wins for both the Commanders with a backup quarterback and the Giants against the Chiefs, which will be a tough game. 3 pretty fun parlays. One of these has to hit, man. I know we keep saying that every week, but Jesus,
We're
something's got to give.
Someone's got to give, and hopefully it gives us money. We're definitely due. I feel like, I mean, like every time, we're trying to make smart picks. I don't feel like we're getting cute in these. I feel like we're taking ones that make a lot of sense, and a lot of going back to what was successful previously. Obviously, this takes us through our Sunday slate. Pay attention to the social media again on Instagram and Twitter as we'll go through and have our Monday Night Football. Really exciting game. Looks much more exciting now based on us knowing the Lions are still the Lions following last week. So Lions versus Ravens should be a ton of offense in that. I'm curious like what our picks are going to be. Me and Al will pull up on the side. We'll get that bet out there. So pay attention to the socials on Sunday night. I will post that sometime probably during Sunday Night Football so you can be prepared for Monday. And hopefully we'll be toasting at that point to a W that we had earlier in the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Lions Ravens game has the potential to be like the Ravens Bills game. Just a
Yeah.
ton of offense, a lot of fun. Hopefully, a lot of big plays, a lot of scoring. And the only way you'll be able to find those is on our socials. So please give us a follow at Don't Tail This on Twitter and Instagram. Ben does such a great job with both accounts because I have no time. I have a million other things to do, and he's just a new dad, whatever. He doesn't have a lot going on.
Well, you got to edit the podcast because we just,
That is fair. That's how we split responsibilities here at
Yeah.
Don't Tail This. But yeah, follow us on those social channels. You can email us at don'ttailthis@gmail.com. Questions, comments, concerns. Tell us if our bets suck. We know. We told you already. They're not great. So let us know that they're bad, and we'll say, you're right. We told you.
we told you.
We told you this. So on behalf of myself and Ben, thank you so much for listening. And remember,
Don't tail this.
Don't Tail This is produced by Al Manarino and Ben Berkeson. Edited by Al Manarino. Theme song by Lucas Jones. Follow Don't Tail This on Instagram and Twitter at Don't Tail This. We are committed to responsible gaming. Please visit www.rg-help.com to learn more about the resources and helplines available. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. And always bet responsibly, which of course means don't tail this.